Let's get it. All right. So I've been making some notes on every little gripe I have about Procreate Dreams as I'm working on it, and I thought I'd just discuss some of them as we do a little work here. It's pretty tedious, but I finally got around to doing some art today. So yeah, I've really been enjoying working in Procreate Dreams so far, but also getting really frustrated and pissed off and angry. But it's, you gotta remember that a lot of that is just, when you're starting a new program, a new software, it's gonna be annoying. And you know what's even more annoying? When you have actually learned something else first. When you learn something else, and then you have to unlearn and then relearn something, like learn something new, that sucks. It's really tough and it's really frustrating, right? So that's why a lot of artists will tell you, like, oh, make sure you don't learn the wrong way. Like, even though it's a little bit, I really like that feature. But yeah, even though it's a little bit kind of unnecessary to worry about too much, yeah, it's always going to be tough when you've learned something one way and you have to unlearn it, because a lot of times you don't even know what you need to unlearn. You're just so used to something. So yeah, I've been experiencing that and all the great stuff that comes with that as I've been working here in Procreate Dreams, but there's also been a lot of annoying things that I've experienced. So you'll find I'll probably be very critical. I'll come off very critical in this video, but only because I really like Procreate. And also, I'm going to hype it up too still, because I think it's awesome. But the biggest gripe I have is just not understanding why some features, some basic quality of life features that we have in Procreate that have been there for a year, 2 years, 3 years even, didn't make it into Procreate Dreams. Like, how come I can't, like, that's the only thing I can do to this layer? I can't swipe to duplicate or delete. Like, I have to do that? Like, why can't I just do the other way, right? Like, you have to, like, now adjust to this specific way of doing things when in the same exact software family, you can do it in all these different fantastic, really quick ways. I don't know what the first Procreate version I used was, but I'm pretty sure, I know it was in 2018, and I know we could take a layer and swipe and have some more options than just clear, right? And it's like, if I don't even know if that's an option in the regular Procreate, because you can just 3-finger scrub. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so they kept that gesture, so that's good. But yeah, that's like another thing. Like, the gesture configuration and all that is not even available. It feels like a brand new app. And that was something that I definitely could say that I and a lot of the art community was too strict about when it came to Adobe's products, right? But Procreate has Procreate. Like, and this has been a huge secret, It hasn't been up and coming and people know about it. They could have just kept this a secret the whole time and release it, when it's good and ready. But no, it's very much in a very super early stage. It does not feel complete. Like, I'm saying that as somebody who's already spent 6-7 hours actually working on a project in here, because I want to actually use the thing and really get familiar with it, because I want to give you guys, how we do it over here. We go in detail, we go in depth, deep, right? So yeah, I gotta think about what I need to do next. So I isolated the face animation, and then the eyeballs Okay. Yeah, that's the first set, and there's nothing. Make sure there's no face. These shouldn't have frame numbers. I'll just go through and erase. It'd be nice, like another thing I really wanted, because I use it a lot in Procreate, is like the keyboard shortcuts. Yes, it's intended for touch, but it's so much better with keyboard shortcuts, and I really love doing both. I find myself switching between keyboard and just using my fingers and gestures for things. But there's like no keyboard shortcuts at all. I'm not even sure if copy and paste works. I'd have to check. We can do it right here, right now. Yeah, so let's copy that. And, okay, paste. See, I wanted to do it that way first because I don't know what it's actually going to do. Maybe I'd need to, like, extend this a little bit. Nope. Did I not copy anything? Okay, there we go. So I undo that, and let's do the paste shortcut. Yep. It doesn't work. Pretty sure that's paste. Because if I go to Procreate, and I do paste, well, it's not going to work here. Let's just do copy. Yeah, I pasted. There again. So shortcuts don't work at all, even for the most basic functions. It's like, that can't be too hard to add, right? It's like it's just UI stuff. It doesn't, it's a little bit, it definitely did not, I would not have ever expected it to be in the same condition as, like the Photoshop and Adobe apps were. Because then with Adobe too, they're gigantic. And Photoshop is their bread and butter. So when it came out and it was like so bare bones, I was shocked. I was like, I thought they would have, put a lot more into this. But then learning more about coding and just how, apps are developed, it's like, okay, I can see that. But on Procreate's end, it's like, okay, it's not a giant company or brand, right? But it's like they know this is what they do. iPad apps. Like that's it in comparison to like all the things that are at Adobe. But yeah, it's just weird. I remember there was something that I felt like was just a complete oversight. I can't remember what it was. I'll remember at some point. But yeah. But let's start talking about some of the good stuff at least. Now that I got the haters in here, let's convert them. But yeah, this is an example of something that I animated by hand for the most part. So I wanted the eye to open up, and I would look around. This is at 15 frames per second. I wanted the eye to look around and have the eyeballs and have the eyelids move, right? With Procreate Dreams, suddenly, I'm messing around, but honestly, it made me a professional animator of the highest degree. Let's compare it now to this movement. It's still a sketch, but if we compare this, right, the like timing, the bounce to this, right, it's a lot more fluid. There's a lot more frames. Now, it's not like I just threw the other thing in there and because I was just Procreate Dreams, it just made the animation better. But I actually acted out the movement of the eyeball using the Perform tool on the lowest 8 frame per second setting, adjusted some of the keyframes, which was largely a pain in the ass because for some reason that little pretty selection tool thing, this thing doesn't work with the actual movement, like keyframe number things. That would have been incredible to be able to select groups of them. But yeah, I messed with those, adjusted it to be more how I like, and actually drew in arcs to make sure I was following. And then once I had that animation, I just rotoscoped it. So I acted out digitally and rotoscoped my own digital performance, which is just pretty badass. So yeah, and that's how I got these really fluid animations that now I get to add all the details in. But the main one I'm looking for is the eyelids wrapping around. So that's going to be fun, right? But yeah, it was still surprisingly difficult, even though that's a very mechanical, kind of convoluted way of doing things, for me to get this done. It was just so... There are a lot of learning adjustments that needed to be made, but at a certain point, I felt like I knew enough to be able to do this animation after I did this one, because this took me forever in Procreate, just because, yeah, relearning animation stuff. Let's see what's next. Goes in. We need another side for the eyelid there, and we need proper onion skins. Edit onions. Wait, what? Hide onion skin. Show onion. Oh, okay. I love this. Wee. Oh my god. Sometimes I take back everything. Whoever was responsible for the sound effects, for like drawing and everything, that was worth the $20 alone. Easy. But the previous frame is that. Why am I not seeing it? What's all this? What's this then? Oh, it's because I'm not in sketch mode, innit? I'm trying too hard to be like Kobe Brown. Wait, really though? Like what? Huh? Why is it yellow? Forward is supposed to be red. Backwards is purple. The backwards isn't working. Hey? Nani? The corruption. The plague. The pestilence. Right. I'm still only seeing red. What? I feel like this is still just me. But what is it? It's not showing the previous frames. What is going on? Oh. Now it is. That had to be a glitch. That was a glitch then. We caught it on camera. Explain that, devs. I'm gonna ruin the Procreate's not gonna invite me in anything anymore after this. Okay. That's the previous frame. I want those. Okay. I see. No, I don't. Why? What? But I move it here and it will show the previous. Oh, it's within the same group. Huh? Why? I don't think that should be an option to turn. It should by default show you all the previous frames. And then maybe if you want to limit it by group. It's the same animation, is it not? No. And then see, look at what I have to do to fix this, right? I can't just like drag and drop these. I figured it out earlier. I have to select all these, right? Hold, copy, right? Then, no. I can ungroup, right? And then it does that. Wait, I'm so dumb. Alright, we're just gonna cut that part out or something, because I just realized this animation is separate. And I just needed to copy that over the eyelids over one more time. But see? No, because then I can't do that. I can't just lasso select the eyelids, copy, and paste them here. It's like, I really hope this isn't intentional, because it's too similar to traditional animation in that sense. Traditional meaning like real pen and paper, not even just, frame by frame. You know what? Because it needs to be similar though. So how can I... Maybe what I can do... Copy. What happens if I paste? What did it do? Did it add one at the end? Like, I wish I could just shift all of these down or move them around easier, but no. Oh, wait. Oh? Maybe this will unintentionally just make Procreate look, but then... Oh! This is kind of convoluted, but what I could do is paste it there, bring this one back, and hide this, and then just use it. Okay. I don't know. We're discovering this together, y'all. This is a very different type of... Wait, what am I doing? This is a very different type of video here. Because that is kind of what I want anyway. I don't want the eye to... Yeah, I guess we'll just redo this one then. Yeah. What was I saying? I don't want the... I don't remember where I was even going with that. Oh yeah, and the stabilization, man. Like, come on. How long has that been in Procreate? Stabilization, streamline, whichever. But, yeah. Does the undo? Even that shortcut doesn't work, and it's default. Yeah. Procreate. You make me suffer, but you also make me so happy. I'm interested to see if what y'all think about Procreate Dreams. I feel like most of my viewers are illustrators, but I could be wrong. Am I gonna want that outline to show? There's no way for me to lower its opacity unless I were to try to... Like, it would be so badass if I could select, like in Procreate, select all those keyframes, cut and paste in their own line like this. Ooh, that'd be powerful. That'd be sick. Or I could just do it step by step myself, but you still can't select, because that's the one thing I really like about Procreate that Photoshop still doesn't have. You can select multiple layers and cut through them. It's super, super handy because I use the selection tool to draw a lot. Yeah, I think at this point, this one would also now. It's just a rough angle. It would be perfect, mate. We'll do a few frames and see. Yeah, there should be an option to turn off. A lot of people have complained about not liking how that looks. I mean, wanting it to just do one frame and then you get to choose, right? But man, I also wish Apple Pencil Hover worked up here too. I don't see why that couldn't have been done easily. Just as a pointer, you know? Doesn't even have to like have the fancy contrast effects. If it's going that way, then that will come in a little bit more. Yeah, I really need... What I should do is rush this. And then my plan is to finalize all the frames once the rough is done in Procreate. Yeah, but the cleaner you do things earlier, the earlier you do the earlier you do things cleaner, the more time it saves you. I should do a few other frames first, because I know there's a certain rest pose I want to stick to. Okay, this is definitely not showing me multiple... Oh, it's because... See, yeah, it's not showing me... Wait. Okay, it is showing me those. See, it just adds. I want to be able to see, like, it would be nice if when I move over here it starts. So I have to do this every time without it even being a shortcut? Like, how is that efficient? I also haven't watched any tutorials. I'm stubborn. I'm gonna figure it out on my own in the handbook. All right. If I keep the line there, I could reuse it later. What? What? This isn't black. Is it black? What? That is, I'm not blind. That is brown. What? Wait, I'm not understanding. That's red. Bruh. Maybe it's my brush. I don't know. It's not a big deal, but it's very odd. Yeah, I wasn't doing it the right way. You don't go straight ahead animate. Do pose to pose. But even that, you want to do it. You want to bisect it. So you want to go from the extremes. Not mindlessly copying things. And it would be nice to kind of highlight different frames for that purpose, right? Like, I want this to be the same color as that. Since there's limited colors that we can't. Since we can't pick any color, it would make sense that it would be worth putting in the effort to making these highlight this color when not selected so we can just see, because this isn't really helpful. Like, when I zoom out, I guess maybe when, even if you're not this, like, at this level of animation, it's still helpful to see those bars all the way across, like, even for something simple like this. Drawing. Which one were we on? I should label this eyeball. That's one thing that does work though. The actual like keyboard itself. Rename. Eyelid. I know what you're thinking. I know. It's an eyelid. Split. What? There we go. See, and then like it's not an empty. I guess that's better though, because we don't have to copy. It's like it forces you to work in a very specific way, and the moment you deviate from that, it's like no, we thought of that and we want you to do it like this. First one to comment the name of the song I was singing gets a heart. A heart from old Ergo Josh. I think the problem is I'm not incorporating anticipation and all that. But the cool thing is that's where this kind of format really helps. So that should happen after the eyeball gets there. It should be delayed. I don't know how delayed, but it should be delayed. Like, okay, it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. We can show here. Let's try this out. This is where having animation experience is really good, because I would have an idea, if I had done anything like this before, of how many frames there should be. Well, that's why you gotta play it and then test out yourself. And then only until it gets over here do we see it go even further. But then this one, it isn't until this frame again that we're gonna move. Oh man, having liquefy here would have been so cool. I could have substituted that one for just a little bit. And probably the slowest animator you've ever seen. Let's just cut this one super late just because. Yeah, like I don't mind this actually, but you've got to have a shortcut for cut or something. I mean, or for splitting the track. Like, oh, is that it? Ah, そうだね。そうか。え? Oh, okay. The first frame. Let's do the second frame. Huh? I don't. Okay, I just need to think in the gaps and all that, you know. I had this drawn. Oh, come on, Procreate. I was complimenting you for keeping that line there, and then you take it away when we zoom in. But now I see it's supposed to be like, you're supposed to zoom in at a certain level. I feel like if there's going to be huge intentionality placed on how far we're going to zoom in, there needs to be a much clearer designation for each zoom. There should be like a way to identify what stage you're looking at so you know what's available, right? because a lot of this stuff is it feels hidden, and it's like think about explaining this to somebody. How do you animate this faster? Zoom in enough and you'll see this thing. It's like, that's a little bit too vague. It should be just as clear as with desktop software. Like, you do this, check, make sure you're in this mode and click this button or this shortcut. But it's so arbitrary. But this would be a cool like little option to set, like at this zoom level, when you click plus for a new drawing, it stays. The previous drawing stays, and you just make a cut. I'll have to redraw everything eventually to make that cornea in there. Is that just trying too hard? Oh no, I see. All I'd have to do is cut that out of there. Yeah. We'll finish it in post. What's Oh, it's because wait. Oh, I made a mistake. Again, this would be helpful if the colors were there. Like, to identify they all look the same, you know? And it'd be cool if there was a permanent a track level opacity change, so I could use this as layers, because I think it's more efficient than this, at least for small things. Yeah, why did it name this one drawing instead of cutting them into... Oh, it's because it's erased. Okay. I could have just made an eyelid layer, I guess. Be nice if they added, might be, DaVinci Resolve. You can select both of those at the same time and move it. I always appreciated that tiny little detail when I was switching from Premiere Pro. As we the same, let's say the age like me. Wait, what? Oh, okay. I'm glad that was there. And then the frame after. It creates a new drawing after where I had the playhead, so it's a little bit annoying, but I'll just get used to that. Who is messaging me at this hour? At this hour? Who could that be? Who could that be? Plum, 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 plum. Plum, 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 plum. Plum, 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 plum. Plum, plum, plum. Plum. Plum, 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 plum. Alright, double tap doesn't want to work today. You know, it would be a good idea for multiple reasons for me to go ahead and stretch the face over here. Or just turn the face on. Wait. Okay. Yeah. Well, with everything we will share for. Weather outside is rough. The fire is so delightful, and the sun's in a place to go. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. All the way home I'll be yours. Pick up your socks. Oh, it's brown. The night away. Silver bells, silver bells. Oh, I say in the morning. Commercial break. I hope people use this video As their holiday music cheer, part of your holiday music cheer playlist. I hope I don't get copyright claim. Baby, it's cold outside. Oh no. Oh no, I was supposed to put a plus there. Oh no. Oh well. It always does it after, right? Is it gonna do it here? Yeah, okay. Oh no, I hope I don't fall. I don't understand what that did, so I don't really trust it. Come on, Procreate. It could be like bump. Like, do you want to... Oh, we could just move this back, right? Can you get it bump? What? You see how I'm struggling here, Procreate? I just want to put it right here, but there's nothing telling me where it's gonna go. I guess I could put it here temporarily. But then, is there anything in that track? Okay. Alright, that works. That works. Calm down, everyone. We've figured it out. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if or shiny eyeball, and if you ever saw it, you would even say, ooh, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? I've got baby, and be gone before I rise in song. Baby, oh, and don't worry, this is I'm working on the course, but this is not gonna be in the Procreate course, obviously, because it just wouldn't make sense for me to try and fit that in, right? But that will be an eventual addendum, or I'll just make it a separate course because it'll be a separate app, but I don't think I will, because it's really gonna be better to just cover both Procreate and dreams at the same time, because they're definitely intended to be used together, which is something I think I'll finish on that topic, that I definitely commend Procreate on. Not being inefficient, because this is a different platform, and so there's different things we can take advantage of. You can't just have another app next to this and just drag it in and just boom. You can't really do that on Mac or Windows, but here you can drag in your set of drawings in here. So it's so seamless. However, it's not, because it crashes a lot when you try to do things that have a lot of layers, even if it's relatively small. So hopefully that process actually gets to be more fluid and flawless, everything will be more harmonious. But let's also finish off by looking at some of the stuff I wrote here. Some of the stuff is a little bit redundant because there's a way that they intended for it to work, but I'm just going to list it out. So adjusting the ins and outs of the timeline, that would be nice, instead of having to go change the time. Setting to not export identical frames. So if there's a frame that's stretched, it'd be nice to be able to export individual images that are unique. And a really good tip that's in addition to that, an option to export the frame second and the frame number. That would be really cool too. Highlight multiple clips and groups at once to move them. To select multiple keyframes at once. I couldn't do that. I want to be able to do that, and I can get all the little X's and Y's that cross it. I don't know why they didn't add this feature to notes yet. What? Where's the little undo arrow button thing? Oh well. Add transform tool to sketch mode. Yes, mentioned that already. Add keyboard shortcuts. Yes, please. Snapping and magnetic timeline. That kind of works there for entire tracks and drawings. Ability to duplicate, copy to above track instead of having to do the cut paste method. But kind of duplicate to go up already. To just instantly go up would be nice. Easier to see and feel the grip points for tracks. You saw me struggling many times. Traditional playhead marker. Yeah, I want to be able to move somewhere else and keep the playhead in its own place. Or just have a visual reference that I can just keep. So ability to add markers, just a little line and a marker for certain points would be nice, so I can quickly visualize where things are. Ability to lock groups and basically anything in this, that. I feel like, how was that not here? Just the functionality to lock things. We can't even lock a layer. Why not? Animatable chromatic aberration, that would be cool. The noise one is already really cool. Highlight to the entire clip or frame for best. Yeah, I mentioned that one. Export frame. Yep. Frames didn't seem to line up with the timeline at a certain view. Move multiple clips and groups at once. I think I did that one already. And then auto split when in sketch mode. I know a lot of people want that one. A way to know if frames exist outside the timeline. I ran into an issue where I ungrouped and grouped some stuff, and I moved the big group measurement thing like this down, and I didn't realize that there were frames over here, so I thought I lost them, and I only found them later. So if there was some indicator that there are frames outside of the actual video, some dot or something to show, I don't know, that'd be helpful. Maybe only at export time, I don't know. Moving, having Apple Pencil, however, would help. Light mode, easier to see numbers. Yeah, this is really hard to see. This is very dark. I like to copy down the frame numbers. I can't. I can see the 4. I cannot see that. That hurts my eyes to see right now. Yeah. So having a light mode that we can toggle, or just being able to change the background, or just make that a little bit more visible in general. I don't think it's not readable, so why is it even that low opacity? or that thin. If it's so difficult to read, it just you don't even need to have it there. You could just do a different color, so it could be cluttery. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of tweaks, a lot of things to work on, and I'm hoping to help speed things up with my very critical, nitpicky analysis here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me replay this little section for y'all. Doo-doo-doo. Not bad. It's like, yeah. It feels like it's playing a lot slower. I originally planned for 24 FPS. We might go back to that, but I don't think so. We'll see. Oh, that looks so cool. The like little parts actually look good. I think this is the speed I'd like. Yeah, I might mess with the speed and ramp it. I don't even know if that makes any sense in animation, and at least doing it in post. I did all of this animation in Procreate, so I still need to animate the face better, because I wasn't even intending to animate the face because I want it to feel kind of scary and fake. Not fake, Uncanny Valley, right? That's my thing. Alright, y'all. I will see you in the next one. Peace. And keep drawing, stay positive in that. And yeah. Take care, y'all.